So, why put the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden in the first place? If he didn't want them to partake of it, then he could have made it impossible to find. Instead, it stood out like a technicolor rainbow in a black and white film.
Thank you for the question. I must say I've never heard the tree of knowledge of good and evil described as a technicolor rainbow, but I think it's pretty descriptive. I think at the core here is we have to look and realize this. God's desire to have a relationship with his people is based upon his love for his people and his hopeful love of his people for him. God didn't want us to be zombies. He didn't want us to be robots. He wanted us to have a choice. And that choice was personified in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But I think even more than that, at the core is we have a desire to have knowledge. We have a desire to be more than what we are. As a matter of fact, if you'll take a look at the temptation that took place, Lucifer told Eve that you can be like a god. And I think at the core of all of this is the fact that there is a temptation to be a god, to be smarter, to have wisdom, and to think for ourselves. Yes, it probably been better for Adam and Eve to have had it hidden in some remote place they couldn't find. However, at some point in time, that was going to come forward. The Bible says that we're drawn away by the lust of our own flesh. And the lust and the desire to have power, to have wisdom, to have knowledge is inherent in all of us. I honestly believe that God put it there to have them make a choice. And I think that hasn't changed. I think all of us today still have the technicolor rainbow in front of us in a black and white world in which we live. God has made his wisdom available to us, but yet we tend to seek wisdom from other sources, from other people. But God says the ultimate wisdom found in James chapter 1 is that we would get God's viewpoint on anything. That is wisdom personified. And what took place in the Garden of Eden takes place every day of our lives. We look and we look for wisdom outside the realm of God. How many times have we chosen not to get God's viewpoint on something? Because we're a good businessman, because we make good decisions, because we are smart. And ultimately, the end always seems to be the same. We mess up, God still loves us, and we have to pay the price for our disobedience. Ultimately, I think we still have the same battle going on. Satan is continually trying to get us to take man's wisdom, take worldly wisdom, and use it for the problems, the solutions, the difficulties in our lives. God hasn't changed. His wisdom is still the ultimate wisdom. His viewpoint is still the ultimate wisdom. And he still makes it available to us. He said he would give it to us if we just asked. But yet all too often we choose to go our own way, do our own thing, just like Adam and Eve. And while it may not be truly a technicolor rainbow, I do believe that the things of this world, the cares of this world, the wisdom of this world jump out at us in such a way. Thank you, devil, for your efforts in that regard, because that's what the devil wants to do. He wants to derail us from having that relationship with God that God intended all along. Thank you for that question.